I finally given in. I've built a Demon Lord clan boss team with Titus, but with half my team missing full masteries. It's all made possible thanks to Donatello. Even if you're an endgame player, you might wanna look into this build and you might wanna build this team. This is gonna be the ultimate Demon Lord clan boss team that's gonna get you all the rewards. It's gonna do all the advanced quests that come with it. How does this team work? Let's jump into it. Hey guys, SMZ here, we're back playing Raid Shadow Legends. And yes, Donatello is the fusion that I have summoned very recently. And he's an insane champion, insane champion. And yes, he unlocks the Titus team in a way that nobody has. If you're anything like me, I've been putting off building a Titus team because it's gonna be so difficult to set up and everything. Donnie just makes it so much easier. And how does he do that? The secret. Many people are going to tell you to build him in Relentless and whatnot. No, build him in a 9-piece protection set. And I'm just going to tell you why. There's a free champion that you can get by using the link in my description. That is Narma the Return, a great champion to battle the Demon Lord. And you can get her alongside other crazy good epic champions like Anax, like Uugo, and like Mausoleum Mage as you progress through the game. How to get these champions for free? Here's how to do it. You go into your Plarium Play and log out of your current account. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email address. Download the game and then play the tutorial, and you will find Narma sitting there chilling in your inbox. And you can get all of these crazy good epic champions as you progress through the game. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Click the link in the description and get these cool champions. So 9-piece protection set, of course, not only protects your debuffs, which is nice for any other areas of the game, like for example hard mode faction wars, Centranos, even your normal dungeon stages as well. And he does bring a fair amount of buffs in his kit. He brings an increased speed on all allies, which is amazing. He brings a continuous heal and a strengthen. This can dial down to more and more heals. So he does bring a lot in his kit. Now, why do I say protection? So let me combine this with the team that I have. So the team that I have, of course, the two main elements behind the team are going to be Vixwell, the fusion from last year. If you don't have Vixwell, you can also use Brogni, for example, or any other. There are several teams on YouTube, you can look them up. But I'm using Vixwell. I'm assuming a lot of people who've been playing at least for a year will have him. He was the community champion last year. And what he does, his most interesting ability is his A2, which basically increases the value of all shields on all allies. Now, this is most important. This is very important. If you're the endgame player looking into this, this is where I want you to look at. He increases the value of all shields, and the shield increase is proportional to the number of buffs, which means you want a lot of buffs on your team to be able to extend them, right? Donnie makes this so much easier, because what Donnie does is that Donnie brings up a continuous heal every time he will do this ability. What that means is, even if the rest of your team brings in 4 or 5 buffs, over time, over the first, let's say 5 or 10 rounds, he will just bring in enough continuous heals that your buff bar will max out to 10. What that means is, Vixwell will be extending your shield the fastest that he can, which is bonkers. So that's one of the things that's unlocked by Donatello. Of course, Dimitha can also do that, but Dimitha does not bring in her second skill a cooldown reset by 2 turns and the increased speed, which allows your champions to go more times than the Demon Lord, which is bonkers. So his A2, which is crazy, which basically allows Vixwell to go much more because you can reset the ability, but it also allows Titus to go multiple times to basically do his nuke ability. So how I've built Titus is in a 6-piece Merciless set, and ideally I would build him in a 6-piece Merciless and 2-piece Zeal, but I don't have the right Zeal pieces at the moment, so I've just built him like this, and he's crazy. I would not recommend running him in a 9-piece Merciless for this team, because with the extra turn chance, it can happen, especially at the very start, because you want to run this team on full auto. It can happen with this team at the very start that he takes 3 or 4 extra turns back to back. Very low chance, but it can happen. And then he runs out of buffs and you're done. And you really don't want that. So you don't want any of the champions taking extra turns over here. So this is Titus. The cool thing about him is you don't need to build crit rate. So crit damage is all you need. Try to maximize it. Mine is still not as high as I can make it. I will start and try to get it to 320, 330, 350 even. That's gonna be my aim. Then just a random relic lying around to increase his defense a little bit more. Heaven Cast is nice for him. because even at 2 stars, I have only a 0.5 damage buff. But again, you have to remember you're getting 10 buffs, which means a 5% increase. And of course, the damage masteries. Now, another thing with Donatello is just crazy. Of course, he will fill up your buff bar with all the heals he brings. But that's the advantage of the protection set, because read the 9-piece bonus. 75% chance to place a protected buff, but also allies deal 5% more damage per each buff placed by the wearer. Donatello, at least in my team, he's going to be placing at least 5 buffs. 5 times 5 is 25. That is bonkers. You're going to reach damage very quickly. I did mention that some of my champions are not wearing full masteries. Vixwell's not. This is his mastery. So my damage can go even higher when I get him War Master, for example. But at the moment I just didn't, and the team still works. That's the crazy thing. So Vixwell I have in a Reflex and Merciless set to basically allow him to go for his A2 as quickly as possible. Reflex of course has a 40% chance to reduce skill cooldown, and the Merciless does the same. And you're going to be using his A3 once and then never again. So any refreshes are always going to be happening on this skill, which you will need to book books. So this is the place that I put the books in. For Donnie, you do not need to book his abilities, but if you do, this brooks down to a 4-turn cooldown, which means he'll be going just more often. So good to put books on him, but you don't necessarily need it for this particular team. The other 2 champions that I'm using is just buff extenders, additional buff extenders. So I'm using Valerie, a rare champion, a farmable rare champion. And the reason for that is her A2 is a very cool ability, which increases the duration of all buffs, which is exactly what we need. And most importantly, she's a rare champion. What that means is we get an advanced quest every once in a while, which says to use a rare champion on your Demon Lord team. She fulfills that criteria. She's also going to be my stun target because I care least about her. And in order to make her the stun target, just make sure that she is the one with the lowest HP on your team and decent defense, so she can actually tank the first few hits. But build her with the least amount of HP, and she's going to be the stun target all the way through. And then finally, the last champion on my team is Mad Hatter, because he does also bring a buff extension, but also turn meter fill and an ally attack on his A2. Mad Hatter is the champion who is most replaceable on this team. You can bring someone like a Mikage who can do the same job. Who else can you bring? Buff extenders. Let's have a look. Other effects. These filters are very nice, by the way, Plarium. So you could use Anchorite, for example. Pretty good champion. You can use Demitha, obviously. You can use Mikage. You can use Aniri. You can use Vithir. You can also use Dudan the Runic. He's also pretty good because he also brings the Taunt, counterattack, strengthen, all of these buffs, which is very, very nice. So you can use many champions in place of Mad Hatter if you wish so. So that's gonna be the team. Mad Hatter for me is in a provoke set for the Hydra, and I'm just using that build right here. The best thing about this team is that you don't need to care about speeds or speed tunes or anything like that. That was my turn off from all those unkillable teams. You don't, and these teams go the turn limit, which is very, very crazy. So for me, Valerie is also in a reflex set to get back to her A2 as much as you can, but you don't need to. You can also put her in a bolster set to get an additional shield starting off the round. But the main shield I'm getting from Vixwell's A3 that I do at the very start. So I'm just going to show you the presets, and then I'm going to just show you the run that I just finished before filming the video, because I do not want to make you... So I started the run first, and I realized that for one of the faction war fights, I had stolen Valerie's gear, so she was naked, so she died. That's why I had to reset, and then the second key went basically all the way through. And can I actually show the presets when I don't have a clan boss key? I think I will have to go in some dungeon stage or something. Let me quickly do that. Event dungeon, why not? I just want to look at that team. Where are ya? There it is. So for the presets, Vixwell just needs to start off with his A3 and then not use it again. So all the refreshes that he'll get, he's gonna get on the A2. Donnie, basically he starts off with his A3, but I'm not putting it to don't use, so he can use it, but prioritize the reset skill, the Shell Shocker. Valerie, never use the A3, don't really need it. A1 is going to be the priority, but don't start with it just to give one additional turn, but it's not necessarily needed, to be honest. Titus, don't use his A3 and always prioritize the Student of War ability. And he does have the 6-piece Merciless, which means he has skill cooldown reduction in the gear set. And of course, Mad Hatter is going to be... I'm going to prioritize his A3, interestingly, to increase buff duration. And then he just starts off with his A2. That's going to be the presets. So let me now just jump back into the run that I had. And let me just start this off. This is just a recorded video of what I did just before I filmed this. And I'm going to show you how it starts off. So we start off, this is Ultra Nightmare. A1 there. There's the buffs from Donnie, the strengthen and the first heal. There, Vixwell put on the buffs. Boss does the first hit, and now we're just going to start extending, as we will see. Extension from Mad Hatter. Donnie with the Shell Shocker. Extension. And Vixwell immediately expands the shield even more. Even more expansion of the buffs. And Donnie, once he gets back to his A3, he was going to add one more continuous heal. As you can see, most of the champions right now have around 5 to 6, actually 6 buffs. But as we go through the fight, the number of buffs is going to increase to 10. I'll just forward this a little bit. As you can see, already a few continuous heals on the champions. And you have to remember, each heal that Donnie is adding, and he just added one more, he's basically giving you the bonus from the 9-piece protection set, which is huge. And the fact is that Donnie does use up one continuous heal every time he does A1. But because I have essentially 3 buff extenders, what that means is that I'm not going to run out of the buffs whatsoever. Towards the end, it was like 100 plus on all the buffs. So let me just jump in a little bit further into the round. When the shields are basically capping up, you will notice that Valerie is going to be the stun target. She's just going to keep taking the stun again and again because she has the least amount of HP. And the clan boss tries to go for the one which he can kill easiest in a particular hit for his single target attack. So we are continuing, and now Vixwell is basically smacking it. As you can see, already an 8 million hit. For me, he's going up to like around 12 million hits as well towards the later stages. I'm sure, as you saw earlier, he's only has 290 crit damage, only in quotation marks, because I'm an endgame account. When I build him even more, he's gonna hit even harder. You have to also keep his HP a little lower because his damage is based on the differential between his HP and the size of the shield. So the lower his HP, the more the difference is going to be. So the harder he's going to hit. But then again, make sure that his HP is not low enough that he becomes the stun target. Because you really want to be doing damage with Titus. That's all that's good there's going to be. So this team runs all the way through. This is my first run that went ever to the turn limit. Donnie did fall off towards the end. I have to see if maybe I need to improve the defense number, why that happened. But I'm just going to go through the fight. As you can already see, I'm hitting almost 1 billion damage on turn 95, which is crazy. But of course, there's a 1500 turn limit. And just imagine, once I put the blessings on Valerie and on Vixwell, I'm going to be getting the War Master hits. I'm going to be adding on even more damage. And this is a longer fight, which means that that damage is actually going to count. So we are going all the way through. There's a Shell Shocker coming in, resetting abilities. And again, as you can see, the duration on all of these buffs are 127, 126, which is bonkers. So this goes all the way through. I'll just run towards the end. Donnie does die around turn 1430-ish, 1420, something like that. And that damage is 1.3 billion already. I'll go to the end screen where I'm, again, first time hitting the turn limit for me. And there you go. That's the damage that I was able to get. As you can see, Vixwell right here has 32 million without Giant Slayer or anything like that because he has the Brimstone. So if I can get higher Brimstone, the Brimstone also does a lot of damage over time. Donnie has the Mastery, that's why he's getting 9.4. So I can expect an additional that number on Vixwell as well, even more because Vixwell is going to be hitting more often. Same with Valerie, I can get another 10 million here at the very least. Titus, if I can get a higher blessing to improve the Heaven cast, that will also do so. And then Hatter is already also hitting for around 10 million damage. So that's going to be the team. It's very easy to build. It's going to be doing all your advanced quests, even the one with a rare in the team. And it's going to be giving a lot of boost from protection. And the thing is that Donnie can be used in a protection set everywhere else in the game. Amazing team. I'm in love with it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments if I'm missing something out, if there are other combinations that I can try building up as well. I might even try this on Hydra, but I really want to avoid that because it kind of takes the fun away because Titus is kind of like a cheat code, you know. But Demon Lord, because there are no competitions here, there's no Demon Lord clash or anything like that. It's purely a PvE game mode, so that's why I was like, let's build it out. Hopefully you guys do so as well. And again, thank you very much for watching. And if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you once again, and see you next time.